What is going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to you, and I wanted to bring a story that I saw on the Daily Wire with Matt Walsh. And I found it to be quite interesting, if not disturbing, to say the least. Now, there's a correlation between the dumbing down of America, the DEI programs, and the affirmative action programs. They're allowing people with IQs well below 100, which is pretty much the average, well below that, get in, go to college, graduate from college, possibly get a graduate degree, and they're teaching our kids. Again, these people, they believe their leftist ideology. They believe that in DEI, they believe in affirmative action. And they believe that you can take a boy and make him a girl, and a girl will make her a boy. And they believe that borders should be wide open. They believe this stuff, and they believe that this country was founded on racism, and they believe the biggest threat to our country is white supremacy. These are the folks that believe that. And again, it sounds like the majority of people teaching a college. But guys, I'm going to bring you Matt Walsh, and he is going to explain there's one question, not an IQ test, but one question that can pretty much determine whether you have a above 100 IQ or sub 100 IQ. And he's going to explain that, and we're going to go over that. There are more and more people graduating from college now that ever graduated from college in the past that have sub 90 IQs. Watch.
Specifically, I'm going to give you a one-question IQ test. Now, of course, a one-question IQ test isn't a real thing. There's no possible way you could determine somebody's IQ from a single question. And if you don't realize that, then your IQ is probably 70. And that's just science. But for the purposes of this monologue, I'm going to administer a one-question IQ test. Here's the question. This is from a mathematician named Spencer Greenberg, who's done a lot of research on intelligence and statistics across large populations. He says that if you take it with a big grain of salt, the following question is a decent general indicator for whether your IQ is above 100 or below it, which is around the average of the typical American. The question reads, a carpenter is to furniture as a cobbler is to what? In other words, a carpenter's relationship to furniture is analogous to a cobbler's relationship to what object? And here are your options. A, tile, B, pot, C, frame, D, shoe. Which of those things, a tile, a pot, a frame, or shoe, has the same relationship with a cobbler as the carpenter has with furniture? So let's really think about this one. This is a stumper. What's the relationship between a carpenter and furniture? Well, they fix furniture. What do cobblers do? By definition, they fix shoes. So the answer is D. The trick, to the extent that there is one, is that cobbler can also refer to a dessert. So maybe you'd be tempted to pick B, which corresponds to pot. But in context, that's clearly not what they're going for. Carpenters fix stuff, cobblers fix stuff. The cobbler dessert does not. Again, there's not much you can read into one question like this. If you don't know what a cobbler is, then you didn't really have a shot. But in general, according to Spencer Greenberg, people who have an IQ below 100, which is the statistical average in this country, generally don't answer this question correctly. They don't, especially understanding relationships to things and analogies. They're dumb, so they can't do that.
All right, guys, man, I'm going to show you something that was put together by a man named Matt McGee. Now, Matt McGee is a clinical psychologist that put together this information. Now, if you look at the bottom of the page, that shows the IQ points. Now, if you can find 90, it's in purple. And there's a purple broken line going from the top to the bottom of the page. Now, if you look at the first group of students, this high school people, people that have some high school but no graduation, they don't have a diploma. Now, again, half of those are above 90 and half are below 90 IQ points. Now, the second group is high school graduates. Now, they're about the same as people that have some college. Again, they have an average IQ point of 95. And, again, there's still a fair amount of them that have sub 90 IQ points. Now, if you look at college graduate, which is in the green, again, college graduates, they have an average IQ point of 105. 105. But again, if you look, there's still a fair amount that have a sub 90 IQ. Now, if you look at graduate professional degree, masters, doctors, whatever, you have, again, an average IQ score of 108. And, but again, there is still a good amount that have IQs beneath 90. And again, guys, man, these is what is educating our future. This is what is educating our kids now. And something else that Matt McGee found out was in 1940 compared to now. And now there are 6 times the graduation rate of men that have sub 90 IQ points. And there are 10 times the graduation rate of women that have sub 90 IQs. Again, we have got to understand this comes from DEI, affirmative action. And again, man, there's going to be more women because, again, that includes white women and women of color, women in general. Again, that benefit from DEI. And again, men of color benefit from DEI. So again, we see a big increase in the number of graduates, male and female, that, again, are below 90 when it comes to IQ. Now, I'm going to have Matt Walsh, he's going to give you a story about a teacher who went to work in Rochester, Minnesota. And what she found out when she was getting her master's degree, what she found out when she went to work for this one school is shocking, to say the least. Watch.
This is a message I received a few days ago from a woman named Leah, who says that she was a teacher in Rochester, Minnesota, around a decade ago. She was pursuing a master's degree, and as part of that program, she was assigned to teach in a local elementary school. This is a school that claims to be focused on math and science. And when she arrived, she says, she realized that everyone else was Somali and that the school was governed by Islamic law. Quote, when I showed up at the school, I was greeted by some Somalian men who were friendly but needed to explain things to me before I could observe in the classroom. They spent 2 days with me in private meetings to explain the culture and what would be expected of me. Long story short, the school is run by Muslim elders. They told me very directly that they are Muslim first, Somalian second, and they will never be American. If the boys became too American, they'd be shipped back to Somalia. This is an elementary school funded by our tax dollars. How many more schools are like this? She asks. Leah continued, quote, before arriving, I was instructed by my professor to not extend my hand to the elders that would meet with me. They don't shake hands with women that are not their wife. I also recall being told that the young girls might miss a few weeks of school and should not be academically penalized. It was clear that this was for their genital mutilation custom, but I can't remember if they gave me the details or if I searched online afterwards for more information. This was something I shared with my professor because I didn't understand how we as mandatory reporters of abuse were being instructed to turn a blind eye. This was when my professor instructed me that maybe I wasn't cut out for being a teacher since I can't respect the cultures of others. The teacher also shared that only moms show up for parent-teacher meetings because the Somalians practice polygamy, and to not expect them to address misbehavior of the boys since the boys can do whatever they want, and moms are thought of as less than their sons. Close quote.
That is not the only school that's doing this. There's a whole network of schools doing this. And again, man, how are they getting funded? Well, you're paying for this. Tax dollars. Tax dollars are paying for this. Federally funded tax dollars are paying for this. And again, they're giving kickbacks in many cases to parents that had their students, their kids enrolled in these schools. They're giving the parents kickbacks. Again, straight up fraud. Straight up fraud. But again, man, this stuff is going to continue and it's going to get worse. Why? Because nobody stands up. Again, everyone has been taught to be weak. Yes, weak. Be weak. Be compassionate. Be kind. Be nice. Don't be Islamophobic. Don't be racist. Be nice. So again, people, they turn away from what's happening. They don't look at it. They don't speak up. They don't speak to it. So again, it's going to get worse. And why don't they go back to their own country? Well, because again, it's much easier to do it here. Again, they can take over. You let them. They can take over. They can commit fraud. And again, there's more money here. There's more resources. And again, they have the people, the natives, which are you, don't do a thing about it. They don't do a thing about it. And again, we have truly got to understand that we are losing our country. We are losing our country. Our founding fathers, they would be rolling over in their graves if they knew what was happening. Now I'm going to show you guys a clip from Dearborn, Michigan, of a town hall meeting with a man that's upset because they're wanting to name one of the streets after an Islamic terrorist. And when he spoke up in opposition to it, the mayor, a man of a civilian background or whatever, he got upset. The mayor got upset and told the resident, we don't want you here. We don't want you here. Again, we don't want you here in Dearborn, Michigan. Because again, they think it belongs to them. Watch.
Just to make the point abundantly clear, the new mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, a Muslim named Abdullah Hussein Hamoud, just told a Christian minister, I think we played this clip, but we'll play it again, that he's not welcome in his city. What happened is that the Christian minister objected to a couple of street signs honoring a man named Osama Sablani, who's promoted Hezbollah and Hamas. And here's how Mayor Abdullah responded. Watch.
Hezbollah, bombed the embassy in Beirut, and including many Americans. So I just feel it's quite inappropriate.
You are an Islamophobe, and although you live here, I want you to know, as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city, because you are not somebody who believes in coexistence.
Again, can you guys blame this man? Can you blame him? Again, he does not want one of the streets in his community named after a man that, again, is for Islamic terrorist groups. And he thinks, that's wrong. And it is wrong. It's very wrong. And again, the mayor knows that. Again, if he was a good man, if he was an honorable man, he would, again, try to coexist, that was his words, with the people that were in Dearborn, Michigan to begin with. But instead, he wants to take over. And he tells the red-blooded American man to leave, get out of your own community, get out. Again, if this mayor was honorable, he would go back to Somalia, or he would shut up, and he would try to get along with the people that live there, but he's not going to begin because they know they don't have to. Now, we do have Trump. We do have Trump. And again, Trump is somebody who is willing to say things that other people are not. And again, that's why I like the man. It's not because I always agree with everything he does. I agree with most everything he does. But because the man is willing to speak up. And that is a man. He has courage. And that courage comes from God. I know there are people, oh no, Trump is not a man of God. Yeah, he is. That courage to speak up in the way that he's speaking up. Yeah, on very popular things. Saying things that most people won't is of God. Now I'm going to play a clip of Trump talking about a Muslim that we all know in Congress, and that he told the president of Somalia, why don't you take her back? And he was like, we don't want her. We don't want her here. She's your problem. Watch.
Yesterday afternoon, Donald Trump was asked about one of these foreigners, a lawmaker named Ilhan Omar. There's very strong evidence that she committed immigration fraud. She's certainly a communist who, by her own admission, is loyal to Somalia, not the United States. And here's how Trump responded.
I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back. He said, I don't want her. Okay. What else? You want?
Guys, man, we got to understand. We have got to understand. There is a correlation between the dumbing down of America, the pushing through of dumb people with IQs of 90 to become professors at colleges, at universities. Again, there's a direct correlation. Again, there's also a direct correlation between Ilhan Omar, again, in Congress. And again, they want her to be there. They want her there. They want her helping to shape laws in this country. And again, this woman is a fraud. She defrauded this country. Again, she went in, she said, I'm my loyalty, my main loyalty is to this country, the U.S. And then she went back and she said, no, my loyalty is to Somalia first. That right there should be enough. But she married her own brother to get him over. Again, we got to understand there's something really wrong with these people. And again, the ones that follow them, for the most part, are young people, are older leftists, again, baby boomers, and earlier. And again, that follow this stuff, that believe them, that again are willing to bend over for people that want to take over this country. And again, we truly have got to understand that's what they're doing. That is what they're doing. They're taking over this country and they don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. This is what they see as their country, as prime land. They can take over because the natives, us, won't stand up, won't do anything. And again, if anyone knows anything about communism, you know the way they get in, the way they have a foothold in a land, in a country, is by dividing people among a race, for one thing. And what they do is they go after the younger folks, the folks in college. And again, these folks are, let's be honest, man, you're 18, 19 years old. And I'm sure a lot of people can remember when they were 18, 19. I mean, I do. And again, I understand I did not know much of anything. And again, I was easily impressionable to a certain degree. And I think majority of people that go directly to college, see, I did not. I didn't go to college and graduate from college until I was in my early 30s. But kids, I mean, they're brainwashed. And they're brainwashed by dumb people that are pushed through these universities to become educational doctors. And again, they had the same mentality they had before because, again, they have an IQ of, 87 or whatever. Again, they're not the cream of the crop. They're dumb. And we have got to understand what is happening. What is going on in our country. We're losing it. I wanted to show you guys one last clip of what happens at 5:30 in the morning in Dearborn, Michigan. And again, people are upset about it. I don't blame them one single bit. Watch.
But the mosques in East Dearborn are now at times waking us up at 5:30 in the morning with the call to prayer.
This is Dearborn resident Andrea Unger at last night's city council meeting stating that mosques using outdoor loudspeakers for their call to prayer should not be allowed, and says she believes it's not supposed to be allowed per city ordinance.
The noise complaints have been made out and the police have made numerous visits. What is the next step?
There was some question whether or not any outdoor loudspeakers are allowed, something that was not clarified, only that more evidence is being gathered. But CBS Detroit did examine Dearborn's noise ordinance and found that loudspeakers between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. are in violation of the ordinance.
I don't know about you guys, man, but I would not want that at 5:30 in the morning. There's no way. Again, somebody would get hurt. I'm telling you, I would not want that. And I think most Americans, they don't want that. They really don't want that. I mean, some will lie and say, oh, yes, we're kind, we're compassionate. We're so giving, we're allowing. Again, we're good people. We're trying to coexist. Yeah, but are they trying to coexist with you? And I think that's what we have to ask. And people are so dumbed down. They're like, well, we've been taught to be kind, to be compassionate, to be allowing. Who are you being kind and compassionate to? You? Your kids? Your neighbors? Or the foreign invaders? And again, this is what they are. Let's make no mistake about it. Let's call them for what they are. Foreign invaders. So again, man, we have truly got to understand that we are being taken over. And we're being taken over because, again, our educational system, there's a direct correlation between the dummies that are teaching the next generation and what is happening. Again, they're being taught that you can turn a boy into a girl and a girl into a boy. And again, you should. And again, you should affirm them. You should affirm them for, again, what they're not. And that's happening. They're being taught that this country is led by white supremacy. White supremacy is running rampant. White privilege. Systemic racism. It's what the problem is in this country. And no, it's not. No, it's not. And they're being taught to be divided. To be upset about that. To be upset about fake things. And they're being taught by the people that, again, believe this because they're being pushed to when they're dumb and they're coming from these DEI programs that they believe in. We are getting people that are teaching our kids with sub 90 IQs. We got to understand this. And again, if somebody wants to come here and they want to come here legally and they want to obey our laws, but obey our traditions, our customs, that's fine. That is totally fine if they come in the right way. Now, if they come in the wrong way, of course not. And if they come in and they want to change our country to resemble where they came from, they can go back. They can pack their damn bags and they can head home because we don't want them here. And again, if we keep allowing this fake compassion, we are going to turn into whatever Muslim state, whatever Middle Eastern country you can point to. We will turn into that. And again, you only have yourselves to blame. We only have ourselves to blame if we allow this to happen. If we stand by idly, because again, it will. It is. But guys, man, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.